Okay, okay, fine. All right, fine, I'll tell you. Okay, it's a secret, but you didn't hear it from me, okay? Colombians, they don't actually like Pablo Escobar. Yeah. I know, it's crazy. Hola familia, ¿cómo están? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Lauren. I am La Gringa Latina. I am from Omaha, Nebraska, and I have been living in Medellín, Colombia for the last 5 years. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome. Please hit the subscribe button down below. I will be providing tons of free content here on my channel for English-speaking travelers and expats. I want to help you as you make your move to Medellín, Colombia. So in going along with this, if you are here because you are interested in moving to or investing in Medellín, make sure to sign up for my email list. Very soon I will be launching my relocation services business here in Medellín, where I can help you with anything from a simple airport pickup and arranging an apartment for you, all the way up to moving your family and your business and your kids here. So, and everything in between. So make sure to sign up for the email list so that you are in the loop about when I launch. Before I begin this topic, I want to explain why I am so sunburned. I went for the first time in 5 years that I've lived here, to a soccer game in the stadium. Medellín has 4 teams. And 2 of the teams were playing Envigado and Independiente Medellín, and I had a really good time, but clearly forgot the sunblock. I brought a hat, but I recommend definitely bringing a hat and or an umbrella to like help you with the sun, because it was really hot and such a beautiful day, because here we are in April and it's rainy season and there was no rain today, which was wonderful, but yeah, I'm burnt, a little bit burnt. So this video topic is all about the things that I wish I knew before moving to Medellín, and I want you to know. A lot of it's like just stuff that I thought of, but I also wanted to include some things that perhaps I already actually did know coming here, but maybe you wouldn't, and it's important. So if it's one of those things, I'll be like, okay, this one didn't apply to me because I actually did know it before I came here, but it's important to know. So, arrancamos. Let's go. So the first thing that you should know is if you are a foreigner and you want to come here, don't come here looking for a job, as in, you know, getting like a work visa. Why? First of all, the jobs here, if you get a job here and you get like a work visa, you're going to be paid in pesos, which you do not want. You're going to be paid, you know, maybe 2 or 3 times less than if someone had that job in the States. And secondly, you know, if there are any vacancies in a company, even if they require that person to speak English, there are many Colombians that can fill that position, or even Venezuelans, or other, I don't know, Latinos here. It's just not like a viable option in that way. And that was something I wish I knew coming here, because that's what I did. I knew I wanted to stay here long term. So I was looking for a job, and I was looking for like 7 months before I actually found something. And I did find something that it didn't work out. So whatever. You're way better off looking for something remote and finding a different way to figure out your legal status here. Just because it's so impossible to find something with competitive pay that's gonna be able to give you that work visa. Number 2, the Facebook groups. I wish I had known and been a little bit more tapped into them sooner. Just for all common knowledge, just any and all questions that everybody has ever asked. Google is your friend, but like these Facebook groups in particular can, you know, answer very specific questions that you might have. Literally the other day I was like, a friend and I wanted to go to like Envy, which is the sushi bar, rooftop bar of the Charlie Hotel, which is like a 5-star hotel. And I wanted to know if you needed a reservation. And I looked in the Facebook group and like someone had asked that question and there were answers to it. So like those Facebook groups, and I can link those down below in the description as well so that you are aware of those. Also, my favorite of those being Expat Women in Medellín, most positive group, giving a big shout out, most positive group that I've ever been in of a Facebook group. Also, kind of in conjunction with this, maybe this is 2.5, is don't let the people who speak very negatively and give off like terrible vibes in these Facebook groups, and these sometimes borderline toxic Facebook groups. They can be, because of certain individuals And, you know, the moderators don't always have time to like pick out all the bad apples, but whatever. Lots of good information is there, but I just urge you to ignore the haters and ignore all of the talk and the hype. If, you know, people talk about the sex tourism stuff and the drugs and the girls and all this stuff, like they're painting a picture of Medellin that's not that. So just ignore that talk. Number 3. So this is something that I knew already, but you might not. So in Colombia, it's not as common for the average Colombian to speak English. So that can be, you know, a good thing or a bad thing, depending on where you are, what your goals are with coming here. If you want to learn Spanish, it's better than going to another big city in Latin America where you can find more people that can, you know, speak English and you get the easy way out. But here it's like you're forced to, you know, learn the language. Which is good. But then again, like if you want to do business, you know, it might be an obstacle. So I would just recommend learning a little bit of Spanish before you come here, even if it's just conversational level. Number 4, I wish I knew how polite Paisas were. Their culture, like they pride themselves on this politeness. So much that it can be negative sometimes when they're just trying to be nice and you want a straight answer. Anyways, Paisas really take pride in their appearance as well. I mean, going along with this. So I say this just because I feel like you can go so much farther with anybody you're dealing with if you just be polite. That is how it's almost like passive aggressive sometimes, but it's the way that they communicate with each other. For instance, if you're, you know, asking about some product you saw on Facebook Market and the person just like isn't answering you or whatever, you know, instead of being like, hello, and like being rude, like they're not gonna probably respond to you if you're being like that. So being polite is just something that's like very important to their culture. So I would highly suggest, you know, in the times when you want to exert your opinion or your attitude or whatever, to follow that up and just be polite, and they'll probably be kind back to you. Okay, so number 5 is actually kind of touching on something more personal with me and my personal life. You know, I've been here for 5 years and I sadly feel like I haven't made too many solid connections with Paisas. It's very hard to enter their social circles. This is kind of a phenomenon that I realize might be some sort of consequence to this national trauma that the city of Medellín and the whole country of Colombia has gone through from their violent past on a national scale, right? So Paisas are very kind and hospitable and polite, right? On the surface. But it is a whole nother thing as a foreigner to gain the trust, their deep trust, where, you know, they open up their social circle to you, their families, etc. Just because for such a long time, and again, I spoke about this a little bit in my last video, but they didn't know who they could trust, you know, with all of the violence coming from the narcotraficantes, you know? And I don't know if this is something, and I would love for any Paisas who's watching this to sort of maybe comment on it, about it. It's something that's definitely stooped me. Sure, I know tons of people, you know? I have so many acquaintances and so many like little amiguitos por allá, you know? But it's a lot more difficult to say like, yes, like she is my BFF, she's my ride or die. Like, no, I wouldn't say that I have like any Colombian friends, 100% Colombian people that are like that for me, despite the years that I have been here, and how do you say this, metida en la cultura, like how inserted into the culture and the people that I've been. For me, the language barrier is not an issue, and not even the cultural barrier either. But yeah, that's a hard one, because I myself haven't really even understood why. But yeah, that is something that I wish I knew, absolutely. Number 6, I wish I knew how anti-Pablo Escobar everyone actually is here. Like, the only people that still seem to have some sort of fascination with Pablo Escobar are the visitors, the people who did not experience the terror from the cartels and their generational traumas. We expats and tourists are all coming here like post Pablo Escobar, right? Of course, like if there was still violence happening, we wouldn't be here, right? But so it just takes some perspective and consciousness to really understand that we will never understand what living in that kind of fear is like, and why then he's considered a complete terrorist by many, if not most people here. So much of the fascination with Pablo Escobar is going off of those media portrayals and that glamorization, that glamorization of those narco characters. Colombians appreciate it when you talk about their country positively, because that's speaking to the truth of this country and not resting on its negative past, you know? Colombians appreciate it when you try to speak Spanish. They want to interact with you, and they love it when you ask them questions about their culture and their people, and you're interested and you're engaged. So don't come here because you think you want to see the city where Pablo Escobar grew up. Like, don't come here and take the Pablo Escobar tour. Like, that doesn't do anything for this city or its people, quite frankly. So when I said that, you know, that's something that I wish I knew, I of course didn't understand really the stance of Colombians on Pablo Escobar. Perhaps I had some idea of what like Colombian Americans thought of him, but yeah, even like the people that are here in Colombia, like they don't, they hate it when, you know, tourists talk about it. Number 7 is another big one that I had to learn. I wish I knew how hard it is to rent an unfurnished apartment. For foreigners, it can be particularly difficult, especially when you don't have a cédula, which is like an ID card. The vast majority of Medellín is controlled by the real estate agencies. So if you are looking for an unfurnished apartment, most likely it will be through a rental agency. So there's 2 options. It's either the rental agency, where there are more hoops to jump through, or you can look for an apartment which is directly with the owner, which is, for instance, like the apartment that I live in, I've lived in for the past 3 years. I rent directly with the owner, and he rented it to me over the other Colombians that had turned in their papers, because he trusts foreigners over Colombians, which sometimes you will get that. Sometimes it's the other way around. But yes, for instance, if you want to rent with a rental agency, there can be a lot of difficult things that you need to obtain, paperwork, and like an upfront deposit if you don't have that paperwork. But luckily, I can help you if you are in that bind and you really just need help with either finding either a furnished apartment or an unfurnished apartment. Please send me an email. I'll put my email here in the description as well. I won't get into the details of like why it's difficult, and I'll probably make at some other point a video specifically on that. But I wouldn't even recommend getting an unfurnished apartment here unless you were going to stay for a number of years. I would say even up to the point of if you were staying for 1 year to go with a furnished apartment, just because signing a rental agreement for 1 year is a commitment, of course. It might be cheaper, but in the end, it might just be easier just to rent like a furnished place. So definitely contact me if you need arrangements for a furnished apartment. Or unfurnished, I can still help you as well. Number 8, I wish I knew how freaking diverse Colombia is in all ways. So first of all, biodiverse. It has mountains, beaches, an island, desert, rainforest, valleys, plains, everything. Am I missing something? It has everything. And with this means that the country and the way that it is laid out and where people have settled creates for this amazing result of this diversity culturally. So all of the different cultures that make up Colombia, a lot of people don't know about the culture of the coast, you know? They just hear and see, oh, coffee culture, for instance. Or for instance, on the west coast of Colombia, where a large majority of Afro-Colombians live, they have a whole new distinct culture on that region and in that coast. And then, you know, coffee region, there's the south, there's in the rainforest, there's the llanos, the plains, closer to Venezuela, kind of like ranchero, like Texas, kind of old west kind of culture. So Colombia is not just one thing, you know, it is so many things. It's just so amazing. So I really wish I knew that. I really wish I had known more about the cultures that are not so portrayed in the media, you know, because they're really amazing as well. I wish I had also known, number 9, that all of the good coffee is like exported. So if you go to the grocery store and you just think, oh, like I can just pick whatever coffee, like it's actually gonna be shit coffee because they export like all of the good coffee. It's not that you can't get good coffee here, obviously not, but I wouldn't recommend like finding the finest of the finest kind of coffee at the supermarket. It's probably gonna be at like a specialty cafe or something, and they bring it directly like from the finca, like the farms. Number 10, and this one didn't apply to me because I kind of knew about what it, you know, living in Latin America before, but cards are taken like everywhere, people. You don't need to be like carrying around loads of cash with you. You know, you can pay your taxis with like the card on the app. I guess some people, you know, have an idea of Colombia being less developed in that way, and when they come here, they're like, oh, it's like the States, like I can pay with a card everywhere. Like, yes, you can. Number 11 is tipping culture. So most of this I kind of knew coming here, but a lot of people don't, and it's just kind of like a learn as you go type of thing. But I want to leave here, like, for instance, some of these where you do have to tip would be like nails, hair, salon, massage therapist, and some others. But ones where you don't need to tip would be like restaurants, cafes, anything food related, taxis, maid service. If I think of any others, they'll be here. But it is a very different culture with tipping, you know, different than in the States, different than in Europe. So it's just something to be aware of when you come here. I only had 11 things on this list. I'm sure there are more, and if they come up, I suppose I might make another video about it. But if there's something else that I'm missing that others who have lived here or other Colombians might want to mention, comment down below. I hope that this list has been helpful to you. You know, moving to another country is just like embarking on a huge adventure, and there are just so many endless benefits to it, from personally to professionally, and in learning another language as well. So if you are looking to move to and or invest in Medellin, I will be launching my relocation services business very soon. I'm super excited. Please make sure you are signed up to my email list so that you know when I actually launch. I will be sending like a launch email first before I publish anything on my social media. So make sure you're in the loop. And please subscribe to my channel. Hit the red button down there, please. I am super excited to continue making videos in English and reaching this new audience. I am getting already so bombarded with emails and messages from people, so I know that this content there's a demand for this, and in my services as well. I know that I'm helping lots of people by just simply telling my story, and what makes me most happy about that too is that I'm indirectly helping the Colombians as I help, you know, connect the Americans and the Colombians, and how it indirectly helps them as well. I want to work with people who help make this city better, this city that I love so much, and its people. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I appreciate it, and I guess we'll see you in the next video. Besos.